All right, we're back again with some more viability of gear. Again, if you're seeing these videos and you're kind of like watching them in order, and you're commenting on them, I usually do these a handful at a time because I don't have a lot of time to just sit down and make these once a week. I know it seems like it's a lot easier than it probably is, but it's just kind of how my schedule is, unfortunately. So if you've like been commenting in the last like few of them and you're like, why won't you listen to me? It's not that I'm not listening to you. It's just that a lot of these have already been pre-made, and when I get to them, I will make adjustments. So I know for fact in a couple of the videos the audio kind of sucked, unfortunately. I didn't have time to go back and redo it. I don't have that kind of a schedule, unfortunately. So I'll do my best to like tweak the audio as we go. But yeah, if by now you're seeing this video and you're like, why aren't they adjusting this? This is a huge problem. I'm still kind of new to all this too. I'm really just trying to make a little bit of content till 2.0 comes out to kind of help others who are just getting into the game, or people who have been around or just coming back and they're like, oh, what's up with this? I never used this before. So I'm not ignoring you. I just, unfortunately, the way it works out is I film a bunch of these, or I make a bunch of these at once, and then later on I'll go back and edit them, and then by that time it's been about a week, and then I'll probably upload one. So uh, they all get pretty pre-made all at once, unfortunately. It's just how it is, unfortunately. So if you're seeing a problem in one, you're probably going to see it in a handful of them until it gets resolved. So I'll do my best to fix it as I can, to make it more bearable, because I know the one I did with the storm was pretty bad. I could not figure out the audio, and then I kind of thought I figured it out by the time I made the Colossus one, and then about halfway through the video it came back. I think I found the problem, but I'm working with a pretty basic setup here. I'm not like some hardcore YouTubing, like Twitch streaming person. I'm just like a regular person. I'm just a regular individual, just trying to do something to help out others. So sorry if it hasn't been all that great. I promise you these videos will get better as they go. Like I said, I'm new to this, so my bad. Sorry. Hope it's not too tedious or annoying. Okay, so as you probably figured out by now, I'm trying to do all of the javelins. I'm trying to give them all love. I am by no means, however, a interceptor main. I play the interceptor the least, and yeah, I don't really have a whole lot of experience with them. I've gotten on to Anthem Enclave and kind of looked on there for builds. I think that's a great place to go if you're unsure or you kind of want to mess with another javelin and you're not sure which direction to go build wise. But like I said, I'm not doing this video for builds specifically. I'm just doing it on the gear itself and whether or not when it pops up in the regulator store, if you should even waste your time buying it or even trying to see if you can get a good roll. Um, yeah, so I'm not doing bitter harvest day. This is just what's in here. I'm just trying to showcase, like, when I say like buying it in the store, this is what I'm talking about. Every Monday, no, sorry, Tuesday, they they put new items in here, and I think it's on a 36-week rotation. So after like the 36th week, if you haven't seen what you want, it's probably not going to be implemented to the store till 2.0. And just to clarify again, in case anybody just wandered across this video out of order, this is all build 1.7.0. So if you're in 2.0 or a different build, this information may not be relevant. So, all right, let's look at what we're going over today. So we are going to be looking at sudden death. And I did not realize until I did this video that every single component, or I keep saying component, I'm gonna get over it. Gear item that I've gone over has some way or another had something to do with fire. It's completely just blew my mind that I found that out like right when I was making this video. So it wasn't intentional. I guess I have a fire asphyxiation. I guess I don't know. I like other things too. I think fire, just the reason I put these in a lot of my builds, or at least try to make builds around them, is because the fire in this game all javelins have some kind of fire build, so they all seem really good. So I've got pretty good rolls on this, but that's not what I'm trying to showcase. I'm trying to showcase if it's something that can be usable in your build. So we'll head out to Bastion. And right before we go, as you can easily tell by looking at my gear that I have like the basic stuff. I have one of each, where in all my other javelins, I've had like a handful, unless like I've got a legitimate god roll, which none of these are really god rolls. They're all just kind of like the best things I've gotten, because like I said, I don't really play Interceptor that much because I'm not really a Speedy Boy fan. That doesn't mean that I'm sure I'm going to get roasted and lit up, because there are, especially in the Discord, there are tons of Interceptor fans. A majority of the individuals that do the build guides are Interceptor lovers. I don't have anything against the Interceptor. It's not my play style. However, as you can tell, I've got a Lego of all the javelins. That's mostly time. The more time you put into it, the easier these kind of things will be to make. But yeah, by no means am I an Interceptor main. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to give the Innies some love. So we're going to go out and test this the same way we always do and see if there is a build here, or if this is a component that you should even be... I'm saying it again. If this is something you should even waste your time in. And we just got done with the Colossus one, which was in GM3, and now we got to reset back to GM1. So, for example, typically when I load in, I will immediately and as you can see, like, I popped up as saying greetings. So. Okay. Alright, after we get those out of the way, just trying to warm up because I don't do the Interceptor a whole lot, and this is actually the first time I've played Interceptor in a while. Okay. Uh-oh. Well, that's an hour from now, so I think we might be able to knock this video out before that. Uh-oh, I'm getting attacked. East Gate Strider. Okay. It took me a while to figure this out, but once I got it, I got it. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. And actually, I didn't even... We'll go over here in front of the tunnel and talk about it. Yeah, I didn't even talk about what I'm showcasing. I highlighted it and like, oh, fire, and then stop. So we'll go over that real quick before I go in. So go to the Forge. And we'll talk about it. So I am doing Sudden Death today, which is not a primer. I actually think this is the first one out of all of them that I've done that has not been a primer. It is actually a detonator. So Sudden Death, which is the Tempest Strike, the combo effect is aura. So if I detonate this, I get the aura of fire effect, essentially. However, I don't think it works that way. Like I said, it's been a minute since I've played Interceptor. I think the way it works is whatever I prime it with, as soon as I detonate it, that's when I'm primed with, which would be acid, because my melee right now, I'm using the Deathstalker blades, which have acid damage, so it primes them. As you can see right here, it's a primer with acid. I think it even says... No, it doesn't. It just talks about if they're below 50% health, it really messes them up. However, this one does a lot of damage. It does 10,000. So that's pretty good damage numbers. But then again, it's a detonator, as indicated by this, in case you're new and you kind of don't know how I'm telling you if it's a primer or detonator. Based on this, that it's a detonator. So if it's a circle, like a bullseye, it's a primer. If it's a little ninja star, it's a detonator. In case you were unaware, you weren't really sure how I was coming up with that. That's how. But back to Sudden Death. Hitting an enemy detonates a fire explosion. So this is where it kind of could be misleading. I'm pretty sure I'm still going to prime them with acid, and when I detonate it, I'm going to have an acid aura, which is something that the Interceptor themselves has, like their built-in abilities. So with the Ranger, it's like single point target damage. With the Storm, it's chaining effects on different enemies. And then with Colossus, it's like area of effect. So they have more effect on the area of enemies, or areas with enemies within the area. And then with Interceptor is whenever they prime something and they detonate it, they absorb absorb or put out the aura of that specific primer. So the Interceptor will pretty much have an aura around them automatically. And this is going to be funny once we see it. Automatically priming anybody in that area or near them within their vicinity with that specific aura. Which, if you're an Interceptor main, this is all pretty common to you, and I would say there's no reason to watch this because you probably already know what kind of builds you like and what you're doing. Like I said, there is a hardcore Interceptor group out there. I am not a part of them. I do play all the javelins, though. I think in order to have fun in this game, you need to play all of them. If you're just trying to master one and just only mess with that one, I think you're really doing yourself a disservice. But, I mean, you paid your money for your game, so you do what you want. But so let's go in and see if we can get this to work. Oh, did we just get kicked out? We did. Oh no, I'm in. I don't know why I keep. I'm used to having to go deeper into the tunnels or the dungeon before it like loads me in. It always kind of freaks me out when I load in that quick. All right. So we'll give them a second to load in while we just hang out up here. So I'll go ahead and use it at first, and I've got enough charges I can do this, so I can show you kind of what it does. But the main idea is I need to prime them for you to see the full effect of it. So these guys should go down relatively easily with sudden death, which is the one we're using, correct? Yeah, sudden death. Okay. And I also have Supreme Veil on because it seems really good for a build for me to use, but that's not really what we're here to talk about. Yeah, instantly down. Instantly down. Instantly down. Yeah, it's GM1, so no surprises there. Just kind of how it is when you're a Lego. It's kind of straightforward. However, let's see if we can... Nope, he goes down instantly. GM1 might be a wash. Okay. Primed him, then detonated him. And, or is acid, yeah. Okay, so that's what I was trying to see. So, let's see if I can find somebody. Ooh. Force runs out. So, see how he's like burning from acid? I haven't even done anything yet. I don't know why you're burning. I haven't even hit you yet. So, this guy's got a shield. Let's test it on him. Yep, instantly down. And I'm frozen. Gotta love it. Gotta love when the storm comes along and freezes you and you come to a dead stop. Okay. I think it's officially off. So we see a bunch of people over here, or maybe not. Let's see how it works in the group. Does not work well enough. Yes, it does. Ooh, the storm really wants me. However, I would like to test it out on that storm. Really show what it does in GM1. Where did the storm go? My acid effect on me. Here we go. And we'll just hang out here. Like, he's just burning down. Yep, didn't even have to do anything. Okay, let's see how it works against him with a shield. So it took the shield down, but it didn't actually get him. Oh, he moved. And his shield's back up. And yep, pretty much. So it's not an instant down, and that's pretty good. I think that's good for GM1. So we'll go up here, hide for a minute. Not a lot of surprises for that. That was kind of... I think with these you're starting to see in GM1, like if you get a Lego of pretty much any gear, it's pretty straightforward, going to be epic. Yeah. I don't know why I had to think about that. Or excuse me, I said epic. It'll be legendary. Hence why it's given the term legendary. Okay. Yep. Like another mission. I'm not going to go back to Fort Tarsus like I did last time. Oh yeah. He's laughing pretty good. It's a good laugh. Good hearty chuckle. Ooh, ominous music in the background. we go. And just to clarify, in case anyone's concerned, I am on an SSD, not an HDD, so your mileage may vary in the game in general. But like I said, this is not a pity party of just talking negatively about the game. I'm trying to help people who are coming into it or who are coming back to kind of get an idea of what they can use and what kind of is going to be a waste of time. So they're not wasting their time. Okay. What is she talking about? Okay, it's not where I'm at. So again, when we spawn in, there probably shouldn't be any brutes over there, but it'd be nice if there are. Oh, hey, what do you know? Some brutes. Okay, so we're gonna go up here, and before it was like instant death. Not instant death. It barely even bugged him. They're like laughing at me right now. Ooh, and I missed, so I would want to prime them first. Oh god, they're just moving. Prime, detonated. So that took about half their health. Do it again. So pretty good, half their health. Ooh. And one of them died, yeah. And that's more or less the acid damage doing that. Ooh, somebody's about to spawn in up there. I'm not going to have any of that, though. We want to kind of keep the benchmark the same for most of these. I might go to a different dungeon just because I think this one might not be good enough to represent what I'm trying to show off or showcase. We'll see. I messed that up so bad. I'm sure there's a bunch of Interceptor mates just looking at me like, oh, you're so bad at that. I admit I am. I am not very good at the Interceptor dashes. Okay, we'll give them a second to load in and kind of just talk about what my plan is. So at this point, we should already know that, especially after testing out on the brutes, that I am not going to immediately take them down with sudden death. I'm going to have to prime them. So I'm going to go down, prime them, and then try to show how it works. And he went down like a sack of potatoes. There we go. Okay. Ooh, yep. Squishy interceptors. This is interceptor life, unfortunately. Yep, I did not get him. Alright, so let's... Oh. Unfortunately, my melee is kind of giving it away. Ooh. Ooh, he's a fire. So it's definitely doing its job. Unfortunately, I'm getting my... I gotta be careful because my interceptors, like I said, I don't play them a lot, so I don't have very good rolls as far as armor and everything goes. What I might do in the future is, for consumables, just put on armor. Maybe shield as well, to just prevent from going down so easy. But let's go over to a larger group and see if we can really get it to proc. So, priming them and spamming it. Okay. So, ooh. What I need to do is get my aura on me, because this is how it would really potentially work. I did not mean to do that, to be completely honest. So he's acid. Okay. So now I'm just going to run up to a group, and then they should automatically get primed, and that kind of gives us a better idea. So I'll tell you a very positive that's happening right now that we're not really discussing or talking about in any of the other builds, is that I am building my ult's already maxed. It's just kind of how my build's set up, unfortunately. But if you're not going to have a lot of ult built into your interceptor, this will help you get your ult very quickly. So now we got our health back, or shield back. We'll go up against this storm, see what we can do. Oh, there's two of them. That's not good. So it kind of did the same against their shield. So we know what their shield does. Let's take that down, and so really didn't do anything, unfortunately. However, let's see if we can find them. Nope. And they just instantly got their health back too, or their shield back. So this is the best way I've seen to use this, is to like kind of get really high and then drop down on them, because it seems like it's a better area of effect. And he, wow, he didn't die from that. Oh, now he did. Alright, let's try and put the storm down before we fight the ranger, because that's going to be a lot to deal with. This build is pretty good in the fact that I can kind of like take damage and then I get health back from melee kills. But that's just how this build is. That doesn't necessarily translate to nope. Hello. Alright, now I got fire damage. Let me see how this works out against these guys. Yeah, if you're looking at my health, you'll see that I constantly am getting it back every time I kill him with melee. That's kind of just how my build is. This is kind of the trick of using Interceptor. There we go, we got him. That was hard. Wait, did we? No, we did not. Oh man, I got frozen. You can't really see it right now, but I got frozen there. Okay, nice. I gotta get rid of the storm. It's usually not what I do with weapons, but... And then if you ever want to cancel out of that, you can, but I already used the charge, so the charge is gone. So, you can cancel it, but the charge is gone. In case you're like, oh, that's gonna miss. So, yeah, I did like maybe a third against his shield. So let's get these to charge back. And then I'll take his shield down. Unfortunately, this isn't the best weapon, so that was about a third, even with priming. Ooh, wow. Yeah, he's just taking it. I'm trying to prime him. Ooh, that was close. All right, cool. Let's get out of here. And I think I'm actually on just fire, not even like the aura. Okay. So, pretty straightforward. Unfortunately, because it is a detonator, it's really not useful unless you prime them, as we kind of like showcased. When they weren't primed, it wasn't doing a lot of damage. When they were primed, it was doing a lot more. And it did a fire explosion, so it's kind of the same in how Ember's Lance works, as once you kind of get that fire explosion on them, it does a little bit more damage than it would. However, you have to detonate them, or you have to prime them to begin with, and with Interceptor, they have a few other ways of priming, and honestly you can prime them with everything, because even if the Interceptor doesn't have gear that primes in the opposite gear slot, you can still use components, which now we're kind of going down the same usage of Ember's Lance is. Now you need components that need to prime as well. But that's... The Interceptor has plenty of assault gear items to use. Like this one does frost or primes with frost. Let's see here. This one electric prime, acid prime. So everything but fire priming is what they got, and which that's why I can have Rounder's Blaze. So with this build specifically, just kind of so you guys have an idea, I spend everything on here is just a prime, and then I use sudden death to detonate. So I got my melee for acid, which any Interceptor main, in case you guys are curious, Interceptor mains don't even really need to detonate anything. They can survive off just acid damage alone. Just because intrinsically how their aura ability kind of just automatically puts the acid out or whatever their aura is, it automatically puts out damage where they just stand there and tick away at the health. And then their melee will do additional damage against enemies below 50% health. So in every component they have, or I keep saying component, every piece of gear they have, or at least every single out of the two, they have acid for both of them. So here's the other one. So they can just stack the acid damage and be very, very threatening in all GMs. So, but as far as sudden death, it's definitely viable in the build. As you can see, it was counting as melee damage. So I have a component that when I do melee, it gives, defeating an enemy with melee restores 40 armor. That's why like my armor was staying up the entire time. My shield was going away, but I don't put hardly anything in shields. And shields, I wouldn't invest a lot into shields. I would invest more into armor, but that's a whole build thing. So that's something completely different. So it definitely has a place for a build. It can definitely be used there. Is there something here that's more efficient? I mean, it's other than Spectre's Flash, which Spectre's Flash looks in stats wise, it looks like it's better, right? It does more damage. It detonates just as well. Its recharge is the same, but it has a radius, where with this one, it was kind of iffy if I could get a group or not. With Spectre's Flash, I should get a group. Well, here's the thing with this one is, with this, it has, you need to hit a target that's you could hit them up close to, but typically you're going to use this to get a target that's further away that's primed, and sometimes it can miss. With this, you kind of need to be up in their face and on top of them, which is something, and I don't know if you noticed, my build is called CQC for close quarters. This is where I think Interceptor does really, really well, is in close quarters. And being able to detonate them right then and there up front is kind of how I think the Interceptor is designed to be. I could be wrong. I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of Interceptor mains going to flip out and be like, "You're crazy. They're most versatile javelin out of them all. They can do anything at any time. They even have weapons builds in GM3," which I'm sure. Like I said, I'm not an expert on this javelin. I'm a lot stronger on the other three than I am on this one. But then we also want to talk about, is it fun? This build, I think, is fun. This is like one of the only, let me see if I can even, no, I can't. So I only have like one other build for the Interceptor. And that build is not nearly as fun as this one. This one is really fun, and this is honestly the main one I'll run because it's fun to use. And then also here, I don't know if you noticed, I have Focus Freeze, and that's why I have the Artinia's Gambit in there. Mostly because I got lucky and got one with a ton of armor. I don't think this is max. I think 100 and then 80 is the max you can get for gear rolls of armor on one component. Or we'll just assume when I say component that I'm talking about whatever I'm talking about. But for the weapons, I think that's the most you can get for anything, honestly. I think this is just the best one I got for the weapon. Because obviously, I don't really care for the LMGs all that much. I think there are better ones, but that's not really, that's something different. So as far as I'm concerned, I think, yes, I think this is good. I think, sorry, I'm supposed to do the javelin, thumbs up. So yeah, I think it's good. I think it works really, really well. It's not too hard to get off either. It's pretty easy. You just prime them with whatever, melee, whatever, and then you're right there in their face anyway. So there you go. So yeah, I think it's definitely worth a try. I think if it comes through in the store, or if you get one, I would focus, if you're gonna use it, or if you're not really sure if you got a good one or not, I would focus on recharge. So the main reason I say focus on recharge, and other than the fact that I've got one with ridiculous amounts of recharge, is it's not a super slow. It's 7, so it comes back pretty quickly. But having a lot of these and spamming them is kind of what you want. Whereas if you look at, I have to back out. My mouse freaked out there. If you look at the assault system, this one, So Ranier's Charge, which is probably the next one I'll do for when I get around again to the Interceptor. Defeating an enemy recharges Spark Dash. So this is one you'd want to put a lot of damage into, because as soon as you the more damage you have in it, the more likeliness you're going to defeat them or kill them, and then you'll automatically get it back, and then you can just spam this everywhere. So this is another one I really like, but it's in the exact opposite slot as far as where gear can go. So that's kind of the other build that I have, but it's almost identical kind of. So it's just different options. But yeah, I would say if you can get one of these, I'd say give it a try. If it's whether or not you want to keep it and take up inventory space would be dependent on charges. If you got a lot of charges on it, I highly recommend keeping it. These two right here, harvest bonus and pickup radius, I don't care about those at all. And even the recharge here, this recharge is actually, so if you get these, the recharges go to, when it says a recharge and it's saying like B or right bumper or whatever, it's talking about the other item. You're never going to get one that says, unless it's got a recharge in here for specifically as a gear, a cog. Cogs are for only this component or this gear piece, and then the javelin is global, so it should apply to all of them. So yeah, if you can get good charges on it, I definitely recommend running it and making a build with it. But I mean, even then, it's not horrible. You're just gonna have to be dependent on other things as well. So hopefully you guys got some good info from this, and I will see you out in Javelin. I don't know why I keep doing this one. We'll do this one. This one's a good one. The Shepherd's Shovel. That seems to be the go-to. So, yeah, see you guys later.